I spent years feeling sorry for my friend Priya. Looking back, that's probably the most expensive mistake I never paid for. If you'd met her a week ago, you would have seen exactly what I saw for years. An old silver Corolla with a scrape along the passenger door. The same blue lunch container she's carried since college. A handbag that's visited the shoe repair shop more often than most people visit the dentist. Nothing about Priya suggested money. She looked like someone who was always being careful with it. Then, one completely ordinary Tuesday, I found out she'd quietly become a millionaire. Not recently, almost 3 years earlier, and somehow nobody knew. Not her neighbors, not the people at work, not even the woman who kept insisting Priya should treat herself more. That woman, by the way, was me. Most of us expect wealth to make noise. Bigger houses, luxury cars, kitchens with marble counters and refrigerators that look like they could file your taxes for you. Priya's refrigerator had 3 magnets, 2 grocery lists, and a sticky note reminding her to buy birdseed. The birds, apparently, had their lives more organized than I did. Last Tuesday, I spent the whole day with her. Not because I was investigating a mysterious millionaire. My car had died Monday night, so I just needed a ride to work. When I arrived just after 7, Priya wasn't checking stock prices or reading financial news. She was standing barefoot in her backyard, apologizing to a tomato plant. I'm completely serious. She'd forgotten to water it the day before, and the plant looked deeply unconvinced. That was my first clue. Not because of the tomato, because Priya never seemed in a hurry. Most mornings, I'm already mentally answering emails while brushing my teeth. Priya had time to negotiate with vegetables. Inside, her golden retriever Murphy greeted me like I'd been gone a decade. The kitchen smelled like coffee and cinnamon. Books stacked everywhere. No color coding, no stage shelf. The coffee maker looked like it remembered when DVDs were exciting. One cupboard door didn't close all the way, and her favorite mug had a chip on the rim. I remember thinking, if I ever become a millionaire, the first thing I'm buying is matching mugs. Funny, looking back, how confidently wrong I was about what rich was supposed to look like. The coffee, by the way, was incredible, which felt deeply unfair. 20 minutes later, we're in the Corolla. It starts on the second try. The check engine light comes on almost immediately. Priya doesn't even glance at it. I looked at the light. I looked at Priya. I looked back at the light. Apparently, they'd reached some kind of long-term understanding I wasn't invited into. At the first red light, a brand new black SUV pulls up beside us. Beautiful car, probably worth more than my first apartment. Driver in expensive sunglasses. Doesn't give us a second look. Why would he? Priya sitting there in an 8-year-old rain jacket, looking like the most forgettable person at the intersection. The light turns green. He takes off like he's late for a movie premiere. Priya waits 2 full seconds before pulling away. Easy, unbothered. There's no prize, she said, for being first to the next red light. I laughed. I genuinely thought she was talking about traffic. By lunchtime, I knew she wasn't. At the office, there's a guy named Kevin who treats gossip like a public service. That morning, he's parked by the coffee machine, showing everyone photos of the SUV he just financed. Heated seats, panoramic roof, a touchscreen the size of a windshield. According to Kevin, it practically pays for itself. I never quite followed the math. Everyone gathered around murmuring, "You deserve it." Priya looked for about 5 seconds, said it looked nice, and went back to her desk. No lecture, no smug little smile, just nothing, which honestly impressed me more than anything on Kevin's screen. Lunch was the usual debate. Thai, Mexican, pizza. Priya opened her blue container. Same fork, same cloth napkin, she's washed and reused for years. I used to assume she brought lunch to save money. Watching her that day, I wasn't so sure. She wasn't gritting her teeth through it. She actually liked her own cooking better. Halfway through, she pushed an apple toward me. Made too much. That was very her. She never made generosity look dramatic, just small, almost invisible. Early afternoon, her phone buzzed. She stepped outside for a few minutes and came back exactly as calm as she'd left. Turns out her sister's car had thrown a check engine light of its own, and the repair estimate landed at just over $2,000 her sister didn't have sitting around. Priya had already sent it before I'd finished wondering what she'd do. No sigh, no, let me move some money around. Just handled, like she was swapping a light bulb. That's when a strange thought crossed my mind. Maybe the real luxury isn't buying whatever you want. Maybe it's never having to panic when life does what life always does. At 3, an email went out. Management position open. Bigger title, bigger salary. Kevin was already taking bets that Priya would get it. So was I. She'd been there for years. Everyone respected her. She was the obvious pick. She read the email like it was an ad for an extended car warranty. Closed it. Went back to her spreadsheet. I couldn't let it go. At lunch, I'd already asked her why she wasn't gunning for it. She didn't even look up from her chili. It's 55 hours a week and constant travel, she said. The raise is real. So is the version of my life I'd have to give up to get it. Nobody puts that part in the job posting. Driving home, instead of heading straight there, Priya made one last stop at the tiny neighborhood grocery store she shopped at for years. Handwritten list, same as always. Coffee, yogurt, spinach, dog treats. In line, a woman behind us was losing a battle with a screaming toddler. Priya reached into her basket, handed the kid the banana she'd just picked out, and the crying stopped in about 2 seconds. The mom looked ready to cry from relief. Priya just shrugged like it was nothing. Another pattern. She never seemed to want credit for anything. Back home, tea in the same chipped mugs from that morning, I finally asked the question I'd been chasing all day. Not, how did you become a millionaire? That had stopped mattering. What I actually wanted to know was when money stopped being able to rattle her. She thought about it for a long moment. Then she told me something I didn't expect. Right after college, she leased a car she couldn't really afford. Something flashy, something that made her feel like she'd arrived. 18 months later, she was underwater on the lease, stressed every time her phone buzzed, terrified of being the person who couldn't make a payment. She sold it at a loss and drove a borrowed hatchback for a year just to breathe again. That black SUV at the red light that morning? Watching it pull away didn't make her feel behind. It made her feel like she was looking at herself, 11 years earlier, still writing checks to impress people she'd probably never see twice. After the lease, she opened one investment account, set up one automatic transfer before her paycheck ever hit her checking account. Every raise after that, half went to life, half disappeared into the account before she could touch it. Then she did the smartest thing of all. She stopped watching it. I didn't get more disciplined, she said. I just stopped needing to be. Willpower has bad days, systems don't. No lucky stock pick, no inheritance, no magic side hustle. Just one decision, made once, repeated for 11 years, while she walked Murphy and negotiated with tomato plants and gave her groceries to crying toddlers. Driving home that night, I kept circling back to the SUV at the red light. That morning, I would have told you the driver was the wealthy one without a second thought. Now I wasn't so sure. Debt is loud. It has heated seats and a panoramic roof. Real wealth, the kind Priya built, doesn't announce itself. It just quietly stops needing anyone's approval. The next morning, I walked past her desk. Same blue lunch container, same worn handbag, same notebook held together with a rubber band. Nothing about Priya had changed, except everything I understood about her had. For years, I thought I was the friend keeping an eye on someone who was struggling. Turns out I had it backwards the entire time. She wasn't behind. She'd just stopped performing for people who were never really watching in the first place. If you know someone like Priya, quiet, unremarkable on paper, never chasing the next red light, drop their name in the comments. Not to call them out, just so they know somebody finally noticed.